Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aviana. This is Aviana's Ascension. And today we are going to see what messages Spirit has for you for the month of October. Now, this is a general reading, so just take what feels right for you and leave the rest behind. And thank you so much for sharing your time, your energy with me. Very grateful to have you here. I just need to light some incense. I keep forgetting to light the incense. All right, let's get it. So let's start with your meditation. So it was interesting. It started with you guys kind of looking at a crack in the ground, like in rock or something. And it kind of zoomed out to like watching you look at the foundation of, honestly, it was like the tower, okay? And it's interesting because the tower is one of your major arcanas. The tower represents something that does not have a stable foundation, crumbling to the ground, okay? And this crumbling is inevitable because it didn't have any legs to stand on, right? So there could be a situation in your life where you're taking a deeper look at it and you're realizing this doesn't make sense, this doesn't work for me. Okay, it was like you guys were like kind of looking around like the perimeter of this tower, and then it zoomed out and it was a giant tower, and at the top I think there was some fire or there was just like some chaos going on, and you were just like, yeah, this isn't making sense, this has to come down. So this could involve a relationship, a work environment. This could be certain lifestyles and habits that you might have. This could be a way that you deal with yourself or how you show up for others. Something just isn't quite right. And you're recognizing that. So let's see what happens. We're going to do a Celtic cross today. So let me get that going, and then we will see what's at the bottom of the deck for the overall energy. I need to get some more room. All right, let's see what we got going on. Okay. There's lots of people, so that's interesting. So this could involve some people. Okay, the bottom of the deck, we do have the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so you're definitely wanting some sort of abundance, maybe some sort of payout of something. This could also be you guys really focusing on your goals and your future as well. This could be you focusing on like the long term for your family or your own personal self. It feels like you have a vision, a goal, and you are not going to give up on that. Yeah. Like with the Ten of Wands, like you're very motivated, very determined right now to see something through. We do have the Page of Wands, the Strength card. So you could be having to walk away from, like I said, people, situations, your own personal, habits in order to create this life that you want or go towards this goal. Could be dealing with a Leo there, but you're really having to be brave and focused because, yeah, we have the Magician, the Sun, the Seven of Wands. Definitely some Leo energy here, but I feel like you're very determined to make something happen for yourself. You know what makes you happy and what brings you fulfillment, and you want to stick to that, protect yourself so that way you can make this manifest in your life. So feels like there's a very determined, very like eye on the prize energy with you, which is cool. Okay, so let's get into it. Yeah, so current situation, we do have the Six of Wands. So yeah, there's definitely success on your mind. You want to bring something to fruition. You want to be proud of yourself. You want to make the people around you proud. I feel like you are just very, very focused and you know what you want, and you are not going to rest until that comes through. Well, I like that. So let's get into it. Tell me more about the Six of Wands for Scorpio. All right. Okay. Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles out here again. So you are definitely, when it comes to your success, when it comes to making yourself proud, making others proud, you're not willing to let that go. You have a very tight grip, very focused vision on what it is that you want to come to fruition for you. So that's good. That's good that you're so motivated. Okay. We do have the Two of Wands, the Six of Cups, the Queen of Wands. So there could be a lot of uncertainty about how to get to this end goal and how to make this vision come true for you. And I think that's a very normal part of that process, right? You know, you can have a goal, a vision, a dream, and you most likely you're not going to have, as soon as the idea pops into your head, you're not going to be like, okay, this is exactly every step along the way and this is how I'm going to make it happen. No, you have to start the journey, and then you usually get clarity and figure out what's right for you and how to approach it. So I think you're in a very normal space with having a dream and having a goal. So don't let that, make you think that you're not on the right path. We do have the Queen of Wands and the Six of Cups. So again, we have that Sagittarius, Leo, Aries energy. So this tells me that there could be maybe some inner child wounds or something from the past, whether it's something that is motivating you or something that is bringing fear into you. It seems like this could be the reason for why you're so determined or why you're unsure of which path, which way to go. All right. And the Queen of Wands, she is good at shadow work. That's what she does. So this could be a situation where you're needing to explore some of the shadow aspects of yourself, because it can show up in multiple ways, right? It can show up with doubt and fear, or it can show up in overworking, hustling, and forcing and trying to control, right? And either way, both of those things are rooted in doubt and fear, right? Because if you trust your path and you know this is meant for me, it doesn't matter how long or how something needs to unfold, I know I'm going to get there, then you won't feel the need to rush and control and force. So let's see. Tell me more about the Queen of Wands, the Six of Cups. All right, we have the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, fierce. So I feel like you know what you want. I like this. You really know what you want. With the Queen of Wands, Six of Cups, maybe this has been a situation where you've already done that shadow work, which good for you. Okay, so it seems like you're following your truth. You are not taking no for an answer. You're, kicking butt, taking names. Like, you are focused. You are a machine right now, just going, 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 and getting it done. I like that, because we do have the Seven of Cups here, the Emperor. So it's like, even if there's moments of uncertainty or just not being sure which choice to make or who to trust or what to go towards, you're still confident and still trusting in yourself and your power, which is really, really good. So I like this energy here. I really do. So the challenge is the Seven of Pentacles, right? That's all about patience. Okay, so there could be an element of wanting this to come to fruition a lot faster. I totally get that. I have my own business with my tarot and all that, and it's really hard for me to let it unfold how it's meant to. You got to trust in divine orchestration, because sometimes when you have a certain goal, there's still a lot you have to learn in order to be ready to stand in that energy. There's, like, for my business, for example, it's not just about, am I a good tarot reader? It's also, can I market? Do I have, I make content? Do I know how to run the finances and run my accounting as well? There's a lot of different aspects that go into the goal. So allow this taking its time to unfold. Allow it to show you that you're just in the stage of having to learn more, have more wisdom, gain more, skills and resources, all that stuff to prepare you to be where you want to be, right? Because the universe isn't going to just give you everything so you can squander it. They're going to make sure you're ready to receive what it is you ask for, which is a beautiful blessing. All right, tell me more about the Seven of Pentacles. Uh-oh. We have the Queen of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So you are definitely wanting to get this ball rolling faster than it is. I would just practice patience, okay? Maybe you can be in traffic and you can practice patience there. Like, do it in small ways, like, instead of using the microwave to warm something up, use your oven or your stove, like little things like that to invite your nervous system to recognize it's okay to wait. Because sometimes we think if it takes too long, it's never going to happen. And that's not the case, right? So you just got to check yourself a little bit and recognize, okay, this is unfolding at this pace for a reason. So how can I trust in that and embody that more instead of trying to force and, you know, force my way up in there? You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to force it. And see, we got the Four of Swords, the Hanged Man. It's definitely time for pause, for surrender. And a lot of the times we don't like that. We don't. No one wants to wait. I get it, you know, but it's better to wait than to force something and then lose it, especially when it means so much to you. Okay. All right. So what you need to focus on, we have the King of Cups. This is your energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So what you need to focus on is controlling your emotions, right? And it's not about pushing them away or acting like you don't feel a certain type of way, but it's about how can you sit with that feeling and also stay in your power at the same time, you know, 11:11 on the timer. This is about being in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the uncertainty, and staying cool, calm, collected despite it. Okay, this is about knowing when to pull from your heart space, when to pull from logic, and how to balance both of those things. You know, because I think logically, because with the Queen of Swords here, you know, I think logically for you, you're like, well, I've been putting in all this work. I have the desire. I believe I can do it. So why isn't it here yet? You know? And there's more spiritual lessons you have to go through. There's more life you need to experience before you're ready. So instead of letting that impatience get you to run amok and act crazy, how can you sit with that? Sit with your crazy, sit with your impatience, sit with your questioning. And how can you show that part of you that you are still safe? Because safety comes from within, right? It's not about the external changing and then you feel safe. No, you feel safe and then things around you start representing that energy that you're already on. That's what I would focus on. All right, tell me more about the King of Cups. I like this energy. This is nice. All right, only one card. Let's see. Okay, we have the King of Wands. Lots of kings. Okay, so again with the Sagittarius, Leo, Aries energy. I like this because the King of Wands is like the entrepreneur king. He's the one that's going to take a challenge head on, and, you know, any obstacles that come his way, he knows how to overcome them. So I feel like this is the energy you need to embody. Recognize that you can overcome anything and you have it in you to be that leader, to be that entrepreneur, to be that boss, whatever that means for you. You have to have more trust in that. And instead of letting doubt seep in and make you think that you're not able, you're not capable, how can you use adversity to show you how strong you are and show you how capable you are? Because everything is happening for a reason. There's always lessons to be learned. So instead of taking the lesson as a sign that you need to work harder or a sign that something's not going to work out, use it as a sign that you're on the right path. This makes me think of, I had a tarot class where I was teaching people how to learn tarot. And one of the students was talking about Matthew McConaughey's book. And he said that every red light, every obstacle he faced, he saw it as a sign that he was on the right path. You know, if it's not easy, if it's not challenging you, if it's not forcing you to grow, then it probably isn't meant for you. And it's promoting stagnancy. But this is a situation where you're really having to trust yourself and trust in your power. And you are powerful and you are going to be successful. So maintain that trust and learn how to control the doubt and the fear by just honoring it, giving it time to be understood, and then letting it go, you know? Because I'll tell you what, your hard work, your determination is going to lead you to something very, very beautiful. Don't let any time frame, any obstacle, don't let that make you question your future and your destiny. Okay? All right, so in the recent past, we do have the King of Swords. So again, lots of kings, lots of masculine energy coming through right now. Um, and you could be in your masculine energy because you're like, let me go outside, let me see how I can make this happen. I get it. So with the recent past, you could have been dealing with an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. But the King of Swords is someone who knows their truth. This is someone who doesn't need anyone to agree with them, does not need validation from anybody, but you know what you're about. You know who you are. And at the end of the day, if people like it, if they don't, that's none of your business. Okay? That's how you should be treating those doubts and fears too, right? Because it's just another version of you who's not fully on board with your truth. And they're just trying to keep you safe. But you know your truth, and you don't need anybody or anything to co sign that. All right, let's see what's going on. Tell me more about the King of Swords. And maybe there was a situation where you went to someone for guidance and advice, and maybe they just told you the truth about it. All right, we have the Queen of Cups, the Death card, which is one of your major arcanas, the Three of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. Okay. Let's see. There could have been an ending of a friendship, possibly, or the ending of you hanging out with certain people or in certain social circles. Because I feel like you have, again, a very specific image and goal and way of showing up. And so I feel like there could have been people maybe around you who were trying to put doubt into that. Let's see. I want to learn more about this. Yeah, see, we have the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Cups. So again, like you're very focused on your fulfillment and your happiness, but we have the Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Four of Cups. Oh my. So yeah, there's definitely been some sort of betrayal, some sort of hurt that's happened here. And I feel like you felt like no one understood you. You felt very neglected. And so you had to walk away from a situation. Okay. Interesting. All right, tell me more about the Three of Cups. Let's start there. Three of Cups for Scorpio. Yeah, see, with the Six of Swords, you had to move on from this group of people. There could have been like a lot of drama, a lot of chaos, maybe just negativity in general, and you had to protect your peace, honor your truth, and move on from this situation. I feel like you want more balanced connections. You want connections where you know where you stand with people, where you know that these people support you and uplift you. And I feel like you weren't receiving that from these people. So you had to honor your truth. Tell me more about the Queen of Cups, Ten of Wands. Yeah, Eight of Cups, Ten of Cups, the Hanged Man. Yeah, it's like what you thought was a safe, nurturing space, you realized was not, and you had to walk away from the situation. Yeah, it's like there was a lot of love here, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of support. You know, like obviously there could have been a lot of time that you spent with these people. So naturally there's going to be a bond and memories and good times. But I think overall, like, I feel like you've been going through a big change and you realize these people weren't able to support you and honor this new version of you, this better version of you. And sometimes, and that is really what's hurtful, whenever we're growing and we realize certain people can't grow with us. And it's even worse whenever it gets taken to the point of like feeling like you don't belong or feeling like you're not supported. So I'm sorry that you had to experience that. I'm sorry, friends. Okay. So potential possibilities here. I love it. The Ace of Cups. So this is a new beginning in love and connection and support. This is healing. This is feeling connected to your emotions and your inner world, filling your cup and going towards things that really make you happy. So it feels like there were a lot of sacrifices you had to make to get here, but at least it's going to be worth it. Tell me more about the Ace of Cups for Scorpio. All right. We have the Moon card and the Magician. Interesting. Interesting. We also have the Hermit here, the Nine of Swords. Okay. Okay. There could be a lot of, you might be feeling closed off because of what you've been through with other connections and groups of people. And I'm saying this because the Magician, the Hermit, these are both like cards that really like to kind of do their own thing and be on their own. And the Moon card, this talks about maybe some illusion, needing to pay attention to your dreams, some sort of like subconscious doubt and fear, some sort of blockage there. And see, there's the Nine of Swords as well. So, and the Ace of Wands, Five of Cups. I feel like you're nervous to have a new start with people. And maybe that's why you're pouring so much energy into these goals, because you're like, well, I know my goals aren't going to treat me badly. So let me just do that. All right. Tell me more about the Moon and the Magician. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, Seven of Wands, the Emperor, the Seven of Cups. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're very focused on this goal, on this forward movement with the Five of Swords. Yeah, it's like you, because we have the Seven of Swords, Three of Pentacles here too. It's like you feel like you can't trust people, so you're just gonna pour your energy and time into things that do actually make you happy. Because the Ace of Cups is not just about friendship and family and love, right? Love encompasses many things: your passions, your purpose, your hobbies, your routines, and the way you show up for yourself. So I feel like you're really not sure about certain people at this time. So you're just going to pour that energy into the things you know are going to pour back into you. I think that you are really focusing on yourself and self-care and just keeping your energy in check and pouring back into yourself. And anything that makes you feel pulled away from that or feel heavy, you're just not into it right now, which I get. I get that. Okay. So let's see here. In the near future, we do have the Devil card, Capricorn energy. So this does talk about blocks and fear and toxic ties and just feeling very stuck. Okay, this could be attached to another person or your own limiting beliefs. So let's see what is going on. Tell me more about the Devil. All right, we have Justice, King of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. Could be dealing with a Libra, or again, we have the Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. So I do think there, even though you are very motivated and determined, I do think there is a lot of fear tied to it. Okay, this could be, again, having to overwork and hustle because you're scared that if you don't, you won't reach your goal. This could also be having a desire for this stability because of scarcity. You know, it's like when someone wants to be famous just so they have money and free stuff and whatever, you know? And it's like, do you actually want to be famous or do you just want financial freedom? You know? So it's like kind of ask yourself these questions in regards to this goal or whatever it is, and see if you're moving from a genuine loving space or if you're moving from fear. Okay? Because I feel there is a need for more balance with the Justice card. You need to tap into your truth, into your authenticity, and just bring more awareness to the inner saboteur, into the shadow, into the doubts, and spend time with that version of you, because I do feel like it is motivating you a lot right now, and you don't want that to be the basis. And it's reminding me of that tower image I saw earlier. Like, if fear and scarcity is the foundation from which you're growing something, you don't want that, you know, because then more fear, more scarcity is going to be the thing that motivates you, and then you'll be drawing that into you more and more and more, and you don't want to do that. That's a whole mess you don't want to get into. So take the time, instead of rushing through this situation, take the time to explore your cup, your inner world, and see what is the motivating factor and how can you lean into love and your truth and faith instead of doing things out of fear. Yeah. See, here's the Tower. See, it's like we have the Tower, the Ten of Swords here. There is a negative energy tied to your abundance, and that's because I just think the mindset you have surrounding it is not what you want it to be. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to start a business or start a personal goal with fear, right? It makes me think of whenever I do yoga. First of all, Yoga with Adrienne, if you watch it, leave a comment down below. Isn't she the best? And if you don't know, get into it. She is my favorite YouTube yoga instructor. She's the best. But a lot of the times whenever, especially when we're doing like more difficult poses, she'll say before we get into it, like, okay, now know that you're strong, know that you're powerful, and pay attention to the story you're telling yourself as you're getting into this pose and as we're sitting in it. Are you saying, I can't do this, this is too hard, I'm not strong enough? Or are you saying, I'm strong? Is there a smile on your face? Are you allowing yourself to breathe? Just notice the energy of how you're getting into something. I think that's going to be very important here. Okay, for your advice, we have the Queen of Pentacles, again, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. So I do think a big focus in this reading is your stability, your security, your home, your finances, maybe even your physical body as well. But your advice is to remember that you are very abundant. Remember that you are a child of the divine, and the divine wants nothing but success and support for you. Okay? Tap into that space. Know that you are co-creating your world with the divine. Anything that you ask for, they're going to say yes to. So just be clear on what you're asking for. Where are you moving from? And remind yourself that you can love on yourself, give yourself nurture, treat yourself. There could be a motherly figure or an older sister or, a counselor, spirit guide of some sort that can give you that reassurance right now as well. I feel like you do need more support because it's not the determination that's the issue. Obviously, you've got that check, right? And you know your truth. So I think you just need a little bit more softness, love, and support as you're going through this journey. Tell me more about the Queen of Pentacles. What is going on here? Okay, we have the Seven of Swords and the Five of Wands. There is some sort of conflict going on with you and abundance, security, stability. I don't know who this is or what's going on specifically. I feel like this is what I feel. I feel like you have a lot of scarcity tied to your abundance, and that is going to cause problems. Okay. We also have the Strength card. Yeah. So it's like this is your animal self and your higher self. The animal self is focused on survival. So whenever you don't feel like your needs are met, you're going to, just act from a low vibration because you feel like you need to do whatever you can to protect yourself, to survive. And that's a normal response. But I feel like you're not in that space anymore. And it's time to pull from your higher self. And it's time to bring balance between these two. It feels like there's just a lot of scarcity, a lot of fear, a lot of lack that is motivating all of this. Yeah, it's like you need more balance. Okay, tell me more about the Seven of Wands, or Seven of Swords, Five of Wands. Okay, there's the Two of Cups, the Four of Wands. This is really taking a turn here. Okay, what is going on? The Two of Cups, Four of Wands. So this has something to do with a relationship, with a connection. This could be a friend, family member, someone you're married to, or someone you're in a long-term commitment with. It's so interesting to me. It's like you don't feel supported in whatever this goal is. I'm going to sit with this for a second. Yeah, it's like you feel like there's an inevitable ending, an inevitable like explosion coming through here. Why is this your advice though? Okay, tell me more about the Two of Cups, Four of Wands, Seven of Swords, Five of Wands. Tell me more. To be advice. Okay. We have the Eight of Swords. So yeah, this is the it's in your head card. I feel like you're making enemies out of people who do not want to be your enemy. That's genuinely what I feel. I feel like there could be people that are giving you advice because they love you. And they're telling you, like, hey, are you sure this makes sense? Are you sure this is the approach that you want to do? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do that? And you might be taking it as like, these people don't believe in me. These people don't see my vision. Listen, at the end of the day, your journey is your journey. So however you want to approach it, it's for you, right? Whenever I started doing tarot, there were people that were like, how are you going to survive off of that? Like, what, you know? And I didn't even feel the need to explain myself because it's like, it's my thing. It's my journey. I'm not forcing you to quit your job and come be my apprentice. So what's it to you, you know? But it's also, you got to understand that some people have opinions because they care about you, because they want to make sure you're good, right? So, of course, in time, you'll prove them wrong because this is something that you are very determined to make happen. But you don't have to make an enemy out of everyone who might question it. Sometimes it's okay to have someone who's the devil's advocate because it makes you really think. You know, I remember there was one time I wanted to do speeches at like high schools or whatever to just talk about like mental health and how to take care of yourself and how to set boundaries and how to use more metaphysical practices to do that inner work and to create a safe space within yourself. And I told my sister about it, and she was like, why would you do that? And I was like, I just remember when I was that age, like I would have loved to have someone like me come and talk, you know? And she was like, I just don't like, isn't, and then she told me, she was like, why don't you just like make an online course or something? And I was like, an online course? I was like, that takes so much work. I don't want to do that. And she was like, writing a speech doesn't? And I was like, girl, I already have the speeches. It's already written, you know? So it's good to have someone. And of course, if it's someone who's always trying to, you know, weigh you down and speak negativity into your dreams, like I get that's different. But if it's someone who just wants to have a deeper understanding or someone who just wants to give you guidance, that does, this is an inner wound, thinking you're not good enough, thinking you're not worthy enough. Because if you know you're worthy, if you know it's going to work, you're not going to be offended and push away anyone that has a question, you know? These questions allow not only this person or people, but also allow yourself to understand your own situation better. You know what I mean? Because if you can't explain it to somebody, or if you can't breathe life into it and have them see what you're seeing, then that's a different issue, right? If someone's not willing or just dedicated to misunderstanding you, that's a different issue. But it feels like this is somebody who just is wanting to give you guidance, give you advice, maybe even financial help. And it feels like you're offended by that, even though this is somebody who clearly means a lot to you, right? So I would not make an enemy out of every single person right now because it's not necessary. You know, these people, it feels like they just want to support you and they want to understand you and give you, like, we all have different perspectives and different paths because we've all lived different lives. You never know what someone else knows. You never know who someone else knows. So be open to that guidance, right? And use your discernment to decide if you're going to carry it or not. You know, just because you don't want to carry it doesn't mean it has to be this giant disrespect and pain associated with it. You know what I mean? Let it be water off a duck's back if it's not right for you. But don't end relationships with people that mean a lot to you and feels like they want to support you. You know, like don't do that. That's not the answer. All right. So what's going on in your environment that's impacting this situation? We have the High Priestess, Pisces energy. So some of you guys could have gone to like a psychic or some sort of spiritual guide. This could be somebody around you who's very intuitive and is trying to like kind of give you that guidance. This could also be, there could be a feminine energy surrounding you because you are more in your masculine energy right now, whether you're a man, woman, non-binary, doesn't matter how you identify. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So I feel like there is someone around you who has a more feminine approach of going within, attracting, changing your own frequency to attract what you want. I feel like someone around you is trying to give you that kind of guidance, or that's their belief and their approach on this situation. And maybe it's difficult for you to embrace that because you've been putting in all this work, putting in all this work. You have to have both. Just like you have to have rest and you have to have work. You got to have the masculine and the feminine. All right, let's see more about it. Tell me more about the High Priestess, please and thank you. We have the Ace of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, I feel this priestess energy, this intuitive person around you. They have a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of clarity. They can see something very clearly, which is really, really good, and you will benefit from this. Okay, I feel this person sees that you are very hardworking. You're very determined, very motivated. You've been through a lot of ups, maybe more downs, and I feel like this is somebody who really just wants to help you move forward and start this next chapter and embark on this next part of the journey. Like, this is just someone who wants to give you help, give you advice. This is someone who wants to see you win. So, is there a part of you who feels like if you don't do it completely by yourself, it's not worthy? Is there a part of you that feels like no one understands, so I can't take advice from anyone? This makes me think, you guys are getting all the stories today. This makes me think of, I was doing readings at an event and I told this one lady, I was like, you need to find a mentor or someone to give you advice, something like that. And she was like, well, no one's ever done anything like this. And I was like, that can be true, but there's lots of people who have started businesses. There's lots of people who have maybe worked close to your field, not quite what you do, but someone that's adjacent to it, someone that knows how to do marketing, someone who knows how to, do the accounting. Like I said with my business, I don't know how to do all those things. I know how to read tarot, absolutely. I know how to do spiritual healing, but there's so much more than the business itself that is involved. So know that you don't have to have all the answers. It doesn't have to come from you. And whenever you ask the divine, give me guidance, help me, sometimes they send it through other people. That's why you watch a tarot reading. You know what I mean? So just because it's not a tarot reader or not a spiritual person, and obviously this person is spiritual, just because it doesn't come directly from you or from some sort of sign from the universe does not mean it's not right, does not make you less worthy. Okay, you got to undo that narrative there. It's just the approach that you have right now. I just don't see it working out for you as well. And that's, again, that foundation. It just keeps popping up. Like, that foundation is not sustainable, and you know that. So let's get it together. Okay, so hope or fear. We have the Fool card, Aries and Aquarius energy. So this could be a hope and a fear, right? Hoping for a new beginning, a new start, or fearing that you're going to have to start over again. But at the end of the day, this Fool card is all about having faith and trust in the universe. This is about being overly optimistic and being okay with making dumb decisions because you know the universe is going to take care of you. This is moving forward so brave and so confident. It's almost a little scary, It's like if you were to walk across the street in the middle of traffic knowing these cars are going to stop. It's like that. So let's see about it. Because it's never bad to have a fresh start or to start over or to see things from a different way. Let's see. Tell me more about the Fool. Oh. Okay, we have the Three of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Page of Wands. Oof. Yeah, you are really worried that something isn't going to work out. I think you're worried that you don't have everything you need to see this through. Everyone drink some water. Okay. The interesting thing about this is maybe you don't have everything you need to see it through, right? You're showing up as a fool here. And the Fool and the Pages are like children energy of people that don't know everything, but they have the excitement and the eagerness to go towards it. That's beautiful. So if you feel that way, or you're fearing that that's the case, let other people help you. Go to other people for advice. Maybe it's not in your immediate family. Maybe you don't feel like they understand. Maybe it's not in your friends, but maybe there's a counselor, a therapist, a mentor, someone in the community that does what you want to do, or someone you look up to. Me personally, I like to watch like Maya Angelou videos and like Michelle Obama, especially because I'm a Black woman, right? So I like to see other Black women who have gone through a lot and have grown from it and have made a huge impact on society. That's the kind of stuff that motivates me and reminds me like, okay, I'm good. And there's also other spiritual leaders in the community that I go to for guidance, right? There's people that do marketing and social media that I go to for guidance. Open yourself up. Let other people help you, okay? All right, and the final outcome here, we have the Page of Swords. So I think this is going to be a humbling experience for you, okay? And again, we all need to be humbled every now and then. That's okay. You're going to be okay. It's going to be beautiful because you are, again, nothing's going to keep you held down. Nothing. So with this Page of Swords, I think that you're going to be open to new ideas and new ways of approaching something. There could be a level of hesitation and questioning, or maybe not fully wanting to do certain things or go a certain way, but I feel like you're opening up to the idea of just hearing people out and seeing new ways of doing something. I think that's good. I think that's really good. Because obviously there is a lot of fear surrounding this. And yeah, you need to open yourself up to new ways of showing up and new ways of doing things. It doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. It just means that you're learning. That's good. None of us know anything, okay? Tell me more about the Page of Swords. Yeah, this is going to be a humbling situation here. Okay, because we have the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck with the Five of Cups. I feel like there's going to be a situation that unfolds that shows you don't know everything. And this could be, like, I feel like Spirit's trying to say, like, hey, I understand you've got this vision, and I understand people around you, not everyone gets it, or not everyone, it's not meant for everyone to understand, but you don't know everything. You have to let people help you, okay? Because we have the Tower here. So again, I feel like something's going to happen to where you realize, ooh, this isn't making sense. Maybe it's some sort of deal you agree to that actually isn't good for you. Maybe it's, some sort of, I don't know, it could be a million and one things, right? But something doesn't work out. And because of that, we do have the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups. It kind of softens you a bit. And that's what Spirit is trying to do this whole time. Not have you compromise on your truth and your goals, but have you be soft enough to receive guidance and other perspectives. You know what I mean? Whenever people act like they know everything and it's their way or the highway, like that's not attractive to anybody or the universe. You know what I mean? You have to be able to receive. Because if you can't even receive advice, how are you going to receive your blessings? So allow the situation to soften you, because we do have the Chariot, Cancer energy. So even if you go through this Tower, it's not going to be a major setback. It's going to be a humbling experience because that's what's required. but you are going to recover from this and become even more confident. And this is that true confidence. You know what I mean? You're not going to be pushing people to the side and, forcing your way through and trying to control. You're going to be moving with confidence and trust. And that's what's missing here. So you're going to go through a situation where you learn how to welcome that. So that's fierce. I know it sounds scary, but trust. Okay. All right, we're going to close it out with some oracle messages. And if this resonated for you, Scorpio, let me know with a like, a comment. Definitely subscribe and share this video with a friend. All of that helps the channel grow. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about it. So we do have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Absolutely. See, I like this. Okay, this is Warrior Woman, right? Powerful, unstoppable, but also woman, feminine energy, okay? Softness, going within, allowing things to come to you. You need a balance here. And we have leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. So the universe is saying, like, we're not trying to punish you. We're not taking these goals away from you or these accomplishments away, but we just want you to approach it with more faith and more trust and allow us to guide you as well. You don't have to do it all on your own. All right, we have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. So maybe there was a point in time where you expressed yourself and were honest about maybe what you needed or what you felt, and maybe you were reprimanded or ridiculed for that. But that doesn't have to be the story now. Allow that narrative to shift because you're carrying around a story that's not serving you anymore. Maybe it's time to come out of the cave. Share your thoughts. Let people come to you and talk to you, We have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Starseed, what lights you up? I like it. So yeah, I feel like this is definitely something that matters a lot to you. And this is something that lights you up, that fills your cup. So definitely keep going towards it. Keep doing what it is you're doing. But just recognize that other people can help you. Okay? And we have yes, just say yes. I like that. See, find your tribe, find your soul tribe, find people that you trust, people that you love, people that want to support you, and just say yes to that love. You deserve it. Okay? All right. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. If you would like more from me, I've got all sorts of stuff down in the description box below. I have all my social media if you would like more content. I also have my website where you can go and sign up for my newsletter. It's a great newsletter. I send it out kind of randomly whenever I feel guided to send one out. But I always give like spiritual guidance, meditations, affirmations, journal prompts, rituals, just different goodies to help you with your spiritual practice. And I also have personal readings you can book, or a soul alchemy ceremony. That's where we turn your pain into power, your limiting beliefs into faith and trust. And I do offer those virtually if you need a virtual session. Okay? But that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, Scorpio. I love you, and let people help you. Okay? You got this.